Why the subconscious rejects money first. Before money ever avoids your bank account, before opportunities disappear, before effort feels heavier than reward, something far more subtle happens. Your subconscious makes a decision, quietly, automatically, without asking your permission. And once that decision is made, reality simply follows orders. Most people believe money is rejected by circumstances, by the economy, by bad luck, or by a lack of knowledge. But the truth is far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Money is first rejected internally, long before it ever fails to arrive externally. The subconscious mind does not operate on logic, motivation, or hope. It operates on identity and emotional safety. It is not designed to make you rich, successful, or fulfilled. It is designed to keep you familiar, predictable, and emotionally safe. If abundance feels unfamiliar, threatening, or contradictory to who you believe you are, the subconscious will quietly push it away. Not through resistance you can see, but through subtle self-sabotage you rarely notice. Missed timing, weak follow-through, discomfort with receiving, guilt when things go well, anxiety when income increases, or an urge to reset back to what feels normal. This is why effort alone never creates wealth. You can work harder, learn more, hustle longer, and still feel like money slips through your fingers. Because effort lives in the conscious mind, but permission lives in the subconscious. And without permission, every financial gain feels temporary, fragile, or undeserved. The subconscious asks a single silent question whenever money approaches. Does this align with who I believe I am? If the answer is no, rejection begins instantly. Many people think rejection looks like fear or doubt, but in reality, it often looks like common sense. You suddenly feel the urge to delay, to overanalyze, to play safe, to lower your expectations, to choose the option that keeps you comfortable rather than the one that expands you. This is not laziness, it is self-protection. The subconscious protects identity at all costs, even if that identity includes struggle, limitation, or financial stress. Because pain that is familiar feels safer than abundance that is unknown. Here is the part almost no one talks about. The subconscious does not understand money as numbers. It understands money as meaning. Money represents power, responsibility, visibility, judgment, separation, and change. If, at any point in your life, money became associated with stress, conflict, loss, guilt, or instability, your subconscious learned a rule. Money equals danger. And rules learned emotionally are enforced relentlessly. This is why some people feel anxiety the moment they start earning more. Why peace disappears when income rises. Why success feels heavy instead of freeing. Your subconscious also mirrors early emotional programming. If you grew up seeing money create arguments, absence, pressure, or shame, your nervous system learned to associate financial growth with emotional threat. Even if consciously you desire wealth, unconsciously your body may interpret it as risk, and the body always wins. The subconscious will choose emotional safety over financial expansion every single time, unless that association is rewritten. This rejection is not dramatic. It does not shout, it whispers. It shows up as procrastination on important decisions, as underpricing your value, as staying in familiar income ranges even when you know you are capable of more, as discomfort when charging properly, as relief when a big opportunity falls apart, even though consciously you feel disappointed. That relief is the tell. It reveals the subconscious preference for the known over the expanded self. Another hidden mechanism is guilt. Many people subconsciously believe that earning more than others creates separation, that success makes them less relatable, less loved, or morally questionable. If belonging is tied to struggle, then abundance threatens connection. And the subconscious will always choose belonging over money. This is why some people unconsciously sabotage success right after achieving it. Not because they fear failure, but because they fear isolation. The subconscious also tracks consistency between self-image and results. If you identify as someone who gets by, survives, or struggles but manages, sudden abundance creates internal inconsistency, and inconsistency feels unsafe. The subconscious resolves this by either rejecting money or creating situations that return you to the familiar state. Bills increase, unexpected expenses appear, opportunities fade. Not as punishment, but as correction back to identity. This is why affirmations alone rarely work. Repeating positive statements without addressing identity creates friction. The subconscious hears words, but believes patterns. It trusts what you tolerate, what you repeat, and what you emotionally expect. If your daily emotional baseline is stress around money, the subconscious assumes that is the correct state, and it will maintain it with precision. The most dangerous myth is that rejection of money means something is wrong with you. In reality, it means something is trying to protect you. Once you understand this, shame dissolves. You stop fighting yourself and start rewiring, because the subconscious does not need force. It needs evidence of safety. It needs to learn that abundance does not equal danger, loss, or disconnection. Here is the quiet truth. Money does not avoid people who lack discipline or intelligence. It avoids people whose subconscious believes receiving it would disrupt emotional equilibrium. Until that belief shifts, every financial strategy remains fragile. You can attract money briefly, but you will never sustain it comfortably. And sustainability is the real measure of alignment. The good news is this. The subconscious is not stubborn, it is consistent. Change the emotional meaning of money, and behavior changes automatically, not through willpower, but through relief, through a sense of internal permission. When the subconscious stops rejecting money, effort feels lighter, opportunities feel natural, and growth no longer triggers anxiety. It feels normal, and what feels normal becomes permanent. If this resonates, pause for a moment. Ask yourself quietly, without judgment. What does money emotionally represent to me? Not what you want it to mean, but what it has meant historically. The answer to that question explains far more than any external circumstance ever could. This is only the first layer. In the next part, we will expose how identity ceilings are formed, why income tends to stabilize at a predictable number, and how the subconscious enforces that limit even when opportunities increase. This is where most people unknowingly stop themselves right before financial expansion begins. Every person lives under an invisible financial ceiling, not a limit imposed by the world, but one enforced internally. This ceiling is not determined by skill, education, or opportunity. It is determined by identity. The subconscious decides what level of income feels like you, and anything beyond that triggers correction mechanisms. This is why income often rises, then mysteriously stabilizes, regardless of effort. The subconscious does not aim for growth. It aims for consistency with self-image. This is known as the income set point. Just as the body has a weight it unconsciously returns to, the mind has a financial range it tries to maintain. When income drops below it, stress increases and action is taken. When income rises above it, discomfort appears and self-sabotage quietly begins. The person may not consciously notice it, but the nervous system does. Anxiety replaces excitement, pressure replaces motivation, and soon reality reorganizes to restore what feels familiar. Most people misinterpret this process. They assume they lost momentum or that circumstances changed, but the pattern is internal. The subconscious is enforcing identity alignment. If you identify as someone who earns a certain amount, lives a certain lifestyle, or struggles in a familiar way, anything outside that range feels unsafe. And safety always outranks success. Identity is built through repetition and emotional reinforcement. It is not who you want to be, it is who you have been allowed to be consistently. Every time you tolerate under-earning, overgiving, or financial stress without addressing it, identity is reinforced. Every time you say, "This is just how it is for me," the ceiling lowers or hardens. The subconscious listens closely to what you accept as normal. Here is where most people unknowingly trap themselves. They attempt to raise income without expanding identity. They seek better strategies, faster methods, stronger motivation, but leave self-image untouched. This creates internal conflict. The conscious mind pushes upward, while the subconscious pulls back down. And because the subconscious controls emotion, timing, and behavior, it always wins quietly. The ceiling is often inherited. Family narratives around money shape identity before logic ever forms. If wealth was associated with arrogance, danger, dishonesty, or loss of values, the subconscious learned to avoid it. Even positive traits like humility and generosity can become ceilings if they are unconsciously linked to staying small. The subconscious does not evaluate morality. It evaluates safety and belonging. Another hidden factor is comparison. The subconscious calibrates identity by observing what feels normal within your environment. If everyone around you struggles, earns similarly, or speaks negatively about money, surpassing that level feels like betrayal. This creates internal tension between growth and belonging. And once again, the subconscious chooses connection over expansion unless taught otherwise. The ceiling is also reinforced by emotional conditioning around effort. Many people believe money must be hard, exhausting, or stressful to be valid. Ease feels suspicious. Flow feels undeserved. When money comes with less effort, guilt appears, and guilt triggers rejection. The subconscious equates suffering with worthiness. Remove suffering, and worthiness feels unstable. This explains why sudden success often collapses. Lottery winners, viral success stories, or rapid financial growth frequently revert to baseline. Not because money is fleeting, but because identity was never expanded to hold it. The subconscious experiences overload and restores equilibrium by returning to the familiar self. Raising the ceiling requires more than belief. It requires emotional evidence. The subconscious updates identity only through lived experience paired with safety. It must experience receiving more without loss, judgment, or emotional threat. This is why gradual expansion works better than sudden leaps. Stability rewires identity more effectively than spikes. One of the most effective shifts begins with permission. Not permission to want more, but permission to be more. To see yourself as someone who handles responsibility calmly, who receives without guilt, who grows without abandoning connection. This internal permission dissolves resistance at the root. When the subconscious no longer fears expansion, behavior changes naturally. Notice how people who feel aligned with wealth move differently, not aggressively, not anxiously, calmly. Their nervous system is regulated around money. They do not chase it or push it away. They allow it. That allowance is identity in action, and identity always dictates results. The most powerful question you can ask is not, how do I make more money, but who would I need to become to feel safe receiving more? That question shifts focus from strategy to self-concept, from force to alignment, from effort to permission. When identity expands, income follows effortlessly. Opportunities feel obvious instead of stressful. Decisions feel cleaner. Boundaries strengthen. Pricing adjusts naturally. There is no internal negotiation or guilt. This is not because the world changed, but because the internal ceiling lifted. In the next part, we will go deeper. You will see how to retrain the subconscious to associate money with safety, neutrality, and stability. Not through affirmations, but through nervous system recalibration and internal evidence. This is where rejection dissolves and attraction becomes automatic. Attraction does not begin with desire, it begins with permission. And permission is not a thought, it is a bodily state. The subconscious decides what is allowed based on how safe something feels in the nervous system. This is why so many people understand money intellectually, but still repel it emotionally. The mind wants expansion, but the body resists it. And the body always has the final word. To rewire the subconscious, you must stop trying to convince it and start teaching it through experience. The subconscious does not respond to arguments, it responds to patterns. What happens repeatedly without danger becomes acceptable. What feels calm, familiar, and emotionally neutral becomes safe. And what becomes safe stops being rejected. Most people make one critical mistake. They try to jump emotionally before their nervous system is ready. They visualize massive wealth while their body is still conditioned to stress, scarcity, and urgency. This creates internal dissonance. The subconscious feels overwhelmed and responds with shutdown, avoidance, or sabotage. The goal is not to force abundance. The goal is to normalize it. Normalization is the true rewiring process. When money no longer feels like a threat or a reward, but simply a neutral resource, rejection disappears. Neutrality is power. The subconscious allows what does not disrupt emotional equilibrium. This is why calm people attract more consistently than desperate ones. Desperation signals instability. Calm signals capacity. One of the fastest ways to retrain the subconscious is through controlled exposure. Instead of aiming for massive financial leaps, you introduce small, stable increases that do not trigger fear or guilt. Slightly higher pricing, slightly easier money, slightly more receiving without justification. Each time you receive without negative consequence, the subconscious updates its rulebook. This is safe. This does not harm us. Another essential shift is decoupling money from identity validation. When money is used to prove worth, status, or value, it becomes emotionally charged. Emotional charge creates instability. The subconscious prefers neutrality over intensity. This is why chasing money for validation backfires. But allowing money as a tool for support, freedom, and calm feels safe. The nervous system must also be retrained to remain regulated during financial expansion. This means noticing bodily reactions when income increases: tightness, restlessness, anxiety, the urge to rush or self-correct. Instead of acting on these sensations, you allow them to pass. This teaches the subconscious that expansion does not require action to restore safety. Over time, the reaction weakens. Language matters, but not in the way most people think. The subconscious listens not to affirmations, but to tone. Speaking about money calmly, factually, and without emotional spikes rewires faster than excitement or desperation. Calm expectation is far more powerful than forced positivity. It tells the subconscious, this is normal. Consistency is more important than intensity. A stable relationship with money is built through repetition of safe experiences, paying bills without stress, receiving without guilt, spending without punishment, saving without fear. Each regulated interaction reshapes internal associations. Over time, money stops being an emotional event and becomes a logistical one. One powerful reframe dissolves rejection at the root. Money does not change who you are. It amplifies what is already present. When the subconscious understands this, fear decreases. If you trust your character, values, and boundaries, money no longer feels dangerous. It becomes an extension of stability, not a disruption. Another key is separating effort from worth. Many subconscious blocks are built around the belief that ease equals laziness or unworthiness. When effort is no longer tied to deservingness, money can arrive with less resistance. The subconscious stops demanding struggle as proof of value. This alone lifts enormous pressure. Receiving also requires containment. If you subconsciously believe you cannot manage, protect, or sustain more, rejection continues. But when you build evidence of responsibility, calm decision-making, and emotional maturity, the subconscious relaxes. It allows more because it trusts you to handle it without chaos. This is why inner work precedes outer expansion. Not because the universe is testing you, but because the subconscious is preparing you. When safety, identity, and neutrality align, money flows naturally. Not dramatically, not emotionally, but steadily, sustainably, quietly. At that point, attraction no longer feels mystical, it feels mechanical. Cause and effect become obvious. The subconscious stops pushing money away, and life stops creating barriers. Opportunities feel timely, decisions feel clean, growth feels natural. This is not luck, this is alignment. You were never blocked, you were protected, and once protection is no longer necessary, rejection dissolves automatically.